Sorry, I had some technical glitches I had to deal with, and but I'm here. Um, First and foremost, Johnny Dub, who may be Lucien Greaves, may not be Lucien Greaves. It's Thomas Schoenberger's associate. That's how I was introduced to old Johnny Dub, and I know that he directly connected to Doug Mesner, even though I'm pretty sure it's Doug Mesner, aka Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Anyway, if you go to the link that I sent, you can go look at what he sent yesterday. It's either yesterday or today. I got it this morning. But it's a meme, and it's about this transsexual war. And I recognize this argument. And it's not an argument that I am willing to fight. The fact that I want Lori King's murder to be investigated has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Amber Vallotton, who was the one who drove, unbeknownst to Lori King or her husband, 2.5 hours to get Lori, then brought Lori 2.5 hours back to her house, and is the one who bragged later on that she was the one who forced Lori King to take all those pills. That has nothing to do with the fact that she's transgender. And I don't want all of this investigated. I don't have an issue with this person because of their gender. I have an issue because of the whole situation that surrounds Lori King. And Doug Mesner doesn't want that looked at whatsoever. Doesn't want it looked at all. And so that's why if you go to my blog, I just end up showing their own shit. Their own shit. Second thing that's on that blog is I do not know if Sherilyn is actually connected to that Famalam thing, but I would not be surprised. I know that Sherilyn was completely connected to that. And they were all trying to set me up. And I know that she's directly, whether or not she's part of the Famalam thing, someone that I don't know sent me that. And I put it out there because that Famalam thing needs to be investigated. That Famalam thing is what Isaac Cappy was involved with. That Famalam thing is what caused Isaac Cappy to end up dead. That program needs to be investigated. What Isaac Cappy set it up for, what it was designed to do, and what it's been doing. Because Isaac Cappy was convinced that he designed it to fight child trafficking, and the people that were involved with him actually used it to use it for child trafficking. That's why I think he called himself a Judas, is because of that program, that Famalam program that needs to be investigated. And it doesn't make any difference what religion they is their preference or what they identify with. It doesn't make any difference what gender they connect with. It doesn't make any difference what political field they associate with. None of that. It has to deal with child trafficking, and this whole Lori King thing has to deal with murder. They murdered Lori King. They murdered Lori King. That's the reason why they're making such an issue out of it, because now this protection order out in Kent, now it's not a 1-year-old. Now there's a 7-month-old child involved. I have no fucking clue if there's a child or not. It wasn't the child that I was focused on. It was the motherfuckers who were connected to Doug Mesner, Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, who, unbeknownst to me, lived 23 miles away in Tacoma. You know? And so, and again, on that protection order, all 15 plus videos that are listed on that protection order had absolutely nothing to do with the petitioners whatsoever. I never spoke about the petitioners, but they only and solely dealt with Doug Mesner, who I brought up in court saying that the dude was fucking, he wouldn't leave me alone. I think that whole thing was a setup from the beginning. When Pat Goodwin as Felicity started to talk to me about coming out to Washington, is the same time that my ex started dating the dude that he left me for. And about 3 months before I went out to Washington. It all happened at the same time. And then at the end, right after the divorce, because the divorce was quick, neither one of us contested it, we just agreed. And so it was a quick divorce. Right after the divorce, the dude that my ex left me for publicly dumped him. In a restaurant, my ex begged this dude to come back, and this dude publicly berated my ex in a restaurant. And why I know this is because that's how the universe has always worked for me. And who could have known that they would have that whole thing play out in a restaurant in Omaha with my sister and her boyfriend, who ended up being my friend, Owen. They were all, Owen and Kathy were sitting right behind. And Michael didn't see them. They were at his back. She watched the whole thing. And what my sister told me about with my ex, the dude that my ex left me for, is that it was the weirdest thing to look at him because he looked like a younger version of me. But right after the divorce was final and there was no need for my ex, they dumped him. You know? That's how this shit has worked. It's always a fucking setup. And Doug Mesner is behind a lot of it. The reason why I know that Amber Vallotton is the one who fucking fed Lori King all those pills the same Sunday the Ivory Garden was finishing up its second annual conference and Lori King was a co-founder of Ivory Garden, is because she bragged about it. She went out and told people. That's what I'm saying. If anybody investigates all these idiots, it won't be hard to figure out their shit because they brag about their shit. Just like Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth bragged about taking out Owen on YouTube. You know, bragged about it. And so they don't hide their crimes. That's what I'm saying. If anybody starts looking at this shit, they'll figure it the fuck out. And and in town, shit. The whole thing about it is that things in town have shifted. I know they're focused on my house because I have those back taxes. I have less than 6 months. They think they're going to get my house. And the reason why I know, and when I post this video on my blog, I'll post pictures of the alleyway and the driveway, because for the first time ever, the realtor dude in that apartment building is just letting the whole back go to shit. It's just, I bet the people who park in those garages appreciate it, you know? But it's because they want me to lose my house. And the reason why is because this meth operation that's going on in town, there's a lot of people, a lot of wealthy, well-connected people who are connected to this meth thing. However, this is the whole situation that shifted in Omaha. In Harlan. It is funny that in that blizzard, I said the Mexican munchkin was eager to shake my hand and look me in the eye, baiting me. And so I did. And heaven did what it did to give the dark. And because he represented the community. And I never thought about it, but this morning I started thinking about this whole situation with my house and everything that's going on. Ever since that shit happened during that blizzard, now they've passed out flyers. So everybody in town knows me, knows my shit, knows there's people after me. The biggest problem that I can see in Harlan is apathy. Everybody knows Everybody has known about that meth operation. Everyone in town. It's like an open secret. Everybody openly talks about it. It's well known. Nobody wants to get involved. There's an apathy to it. However, now everybody knows that I'm connected, what I'm dealing with the sheriff, and what I'm dealing with in town, and what I'm dealing with at large with this child trafficking ring. They know, because those flyers went out. People who didn't know me saw it, because not only was it hung up all over town, but it went all over Facebook, and these people just thrive on Facebook around here. That's the whole reason I'm not on Facebook, because I'm just not on a lot of social media, you know, just not on a lot of social media. But now the apathy has come down to, they have been okay with this group that has been manufacturing meth and running this meth operation for a long time. It's like been an open secret. Everybody knows about it. Everyone's apathetic about it. But now, people in town, especially in my town, are at least aware that the very people that are involved with that are also protecting child killers. And spiritually, that whole aspect of them not only being okay with the meth operation, but now they're okay not only with the people who are involved with the meth operation, but they're okay with them protecting child killers. Spiritually, that ups the stakes considerably. And everyone in town now, at least, is aware. A lot of them watch these videos, you know, and they're aware. Like I said, this whole situation has really changed. And it's gotten more intense because now people are watching it play out. With my house, there's nothing I can do. Do I think that the realtor is focused on trying to fuck any situation that I have? Because they knew I was getting ready to sell my house because Sherilyn was working with them. And Sherilyn was all instrumental with the shit that was going on. There was a lot of stuff that was happening, you know? Do I think that, I know she's involved with them. Is she involved with this Famalam thing? I don't know. But this Famalam thing, regardless, needs to be investigated. But do I think that Sherilyn is involved with them? 100%. 100%. 100%. It's just more of an inner... There's just way more involved with all of this stuff that can be discredited. There's no way that it can't be discredited. The sheriff's department for years have told people that there's no one after me and that I'm paranoid schizophrenic. They are on record going out and telling people that. And now, when you go out, oh God, now people in town realize that that's a lie. That's a lie. Obviously, there's people out and focused on me who passed out all those flyers, you know? So now they've also been proven out to be liars. And these people around here don't realize that there's a judgment going on, the likes of which I can't begin to explain. Everything that's happening is providence. Everything with my house, because I need a miracle. I need a miracle. He can fucking do that back, because I'll never move out of this house if I, you know? Come hell or high water, I'll figure out some way to raise, what, $1,900? I'll find some way to raise it, you know? Heaven will provide, that's faith. But in the interim, all these people are just channeling their fucking soul's intent on being just the nastiest motherfuckers they possibly can. Is little Kevin, the realtor next door, involved with the Nazi shit? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that his opportunistic thing, because he obviously knows about the tactics. His opportunistic, that's how it is out here. You know, they'll take what they can because they're entitled to it. That's how it works. That's how these people think. A lot of them, not everyone, but enough to say that I would think if they're not the majority, they're certainly the loudest and most aggressive. But with the situation as it stands with Lori King, it has absolutely nothing to do with Amber Vallotton being a transvestite or a transsexual, excuse me. And whether I agree or disagree is irrelevant, you know? And I'm never going to be transsexual, so I don't give a shit, you know? Anyone who wants to be transsexual, that's what you think is going to make you happy, more power to you. That's, you know, whether I agree or disagree is inconsequential. I just know that I don't want it for me, you know? However, I will find that when it comes down to it, with Amber Vallotton, when I met Amber Vallotton, the issue that I had with Amber Vallotton was not that she was transsexual, but that she was more aggressive than most men I've ever met. And that was the issue that I had with the whole situation. And you couldn't say anything because then you would be discriminatory, you know? And so I didn't, you know, the shit's coming out. And in town, I know people in town watch this. And now they know. The group that they're okay distributing meth is now they're aware that they're defending and protecting fucking child killers. And that makes a difference spiritually. That makes a difference. That makes a difference. And I would suggest that people act accordingly. It's not easy. It's not healthy. Their shit is not healthy, you know? That's the reason why I say they know, they're more than aware. I'm disabled with complex PTSD. That's the reason why they break into my house over and over and over and harass the shit out of me and just do everything they can to make me feel unstable. They're very focused on my finances right now. Now they're telling everybody that I have lots of money. I have 11 cents in the bank and do not know how I'm going to get through the end of the month. Have absolutely no clue. If I have to do without, then I do without. You know, that's what faith is all about. Ups and downs, hills and valleys. And it's all a test. And I believe that we're in providence right now. I believe that everything that's happening is God has a hand behind everything. So I'm just not going to worry about it, even though I'm in well need of a miracle. Anybody who wants to know about the child trafficking shit, I have a book. Wrote a book, published it in 2012, got nominated for Book of the Year. If you want a book, my PayPal and Venmo is D. Shurter, just my first initial and my last name. First initial, last name. $30 if you're in the United States. Tell me where you want me to send it. Tell me who you want me to inscribe it to. And you can read about the child trafficking, because that's what this is all about. This is what I've been trying to investigate. This is what Isaac Cappy was trying to investigate. That's what Isaac Cappy was trying to investigate. You know, this child trafficking and this Famalam thing, whether or not Sherilyn is involved, but they have a link in there that obviously shows something, you know. The Famalam thing needs to be investigated. Whether Sherilyn is involved, I know that she's involved with that. You know, with everything that was going on, they tried to set me up and they failed. They tried to set me up and they failed. And that's how it usually works. That's how it's always worked, actually. They've never succeeded. Heaven always intercedes. So I have to have faith. And these motherfuckers in town that are focused on my house are not gonna like what they are binding their intent to. Their own greed. Their sense of want. That's what they're focused on. All channeled onto me and what I have, this house. You know? Which is nothing. I mean, really, it's not like I live in a mansion. It's not like I have fucking priceless shit in my house. Almost everything was either given to me or purchased at thrift stores and garage sales. It's just, I have good taste. My mom was an interior designer when she was pregnant with me. That's where I think it comes from. And the fact that I'm gay. Of course, I know a lot of gay people who don't have any taste as far as I'm concerned, so I don't think it's determined by sexuality, you know. But what I have is meager. I'm just very grateful for what I have. I'm very grateful for what I have. And heaven has provided. I've never had an abundance, but I've always seemed to have enough. And if that means that I have to start dwelling on less, then it's less. And, you know, but they're focused on the past tax bill. They really do think they have me now. They thought they had me with Sherilyn so they could stick me in jail. But now they're pretty sure that that's the reason why Gio is running around telling everybody I have all kinds of money. And they know that I don't have any money. They've spent fucking the last year and a half berating me for being fucking broke. Can't even feed myself most of the time. You know? But now, suddenly, now that I'm on the verge, they don't want anyone to help whatsoever. But what they're doing to me is exactly what they've done to others in the past. I am not the first. I am not the only. And that's the reason why when you go look at everything that's going on go look at yesterday's posting. Someone said that, yes, I was calling out names, but all the people that I'm calling out have been called out in the past. It's just coincidentally a majority of the people that have called them out in the past for the same shit that I'm calling them out with have all committed suicide. It's just fucking amazing how it fucking works that way. They've all committed suicide. The majority of them. And the rest of them are so fucking afraid they won't say shit. You know? The shit that they're doing to me, they did to Isaac. That's the reason why Isaac was so afraid. That's the reason why Tracy Twyman was so afraid. That's the reason why Lori King just fucking gave up at Amber Vallotton's house. When she was at Amber Vallotton's house, she just fucking took those pills because she knew there was no way out. Same fucking thing with Max Spears. Had he just gone to the airport and got on a fucking plane, he wouldn't have died that night. But he didn't do it. You know, that's what they want. The reason why I won't give up is because I believe that what I'm going through, they get to experience on the other side. And so I have to go through whatever the fuck they're going to do to me. I have to go through it. And if miracles happen and things thwart that, that's consistent with what's happened in the past, because they have failed every time and they've tried to fucking kill me or set me up. Either way, you know? I don't believe in time travel. Yes, I've seen the movie Time Cop. I don't believe in time travel. They fuck everything up that they touch. This HARP thing that they did in Alaska fucked everything up. This CERN thing that they've done has fucked everything up. The magnet that they have built in China has fucked everything up. Everything that they've done, just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing. And they have fucked it up. I think if Nancy Pelosi's involved, I don't give a shit who they are or what they identify with. What religion they identify with, what gender they identify with, what political affiliation they identify with. I don't care. The child killing shit needs to stop. And it's both sides, not just one. It's not me. But I've had to actually deal with this shit all my fucking life. These people are on top of me and have been all my life. First it was, my handler up to the age of 10 was none other than Michael Aquino. Then when I went back to Omaha, I got away from my dad and my stepmother, and I was back in Omaha. Alan Baird took over until Alan Baird died. And then there's just been one after the other that has actually tried to actually take over. And so when it comes down to it, but they are focused on their stupid shit. And this child trafficking bullshit needs to be fucking investigated. And all the people that I'm calling out have all been called out by others in the past. I'm not the first. I'm not the only. I may be the most persistent and probably the loudest, but I'm pretty persistent. I'm not going to give up on this quest. I'm not. And it needs to be fucking investigated. And it's not about all of the shit that they give. Gabe Hoffman being called out as being involved with the child trafficking and all that bullshit has nothing to do with the fact that he's Jewish, or if he's not Jewish, has no difference. Makes not a difference in the world. But I will say that that's how he got the majority of Isaac Cappy's shit down, is that he went and told people that Isaac Cappy was anti-Semitic. And so that's how they actually, that's how they got Isaac Cappy stuff down. Right before they murdered him. They didn't get his Periscope down, but it's down now, Again, Isaac Cappy's death. What the fuck ever. None of it makes sense. It's all stupid. It's all so over the top that any idiot could see that there's a question for it. So I just say whatever. If you can't see that, then investigate Isaac Cappy's life. Investigate what he was involved with. Investigate who he was trying to expose. This Famalam program was his. He designed it to try and help stop child trafficking, and the people around him ended up turning around and using it for child trafficking, and he was upset about it. Everyone who watched him knew he was upset about it. That's why he called himself a Judas, is because of that Famalam program that needs to be investigated, and who's all involved. Who's involved around with Isaac, who's involved with it now. Who's involved. It needs to be looked at. Just like the shit from Lori King needs to be looked at. But then after you look at Lori King, you need to go look at how many survivors that attended SMART conferences at Neil Brick's conference in Connecticut are still alive, and how many are dead. Because I would be willing to bet that there is a large number of suicides involved with it. And the reason why is because Doug does to others what he does to me all the time, and has for years. This Dead Isaac Cappy Club, the Sewer Town, Gabe Hoffman. Well, Gabe Hoffman isn't new. I dealt with him years ago. Called him out years ago, just like I called out Craig Sawyer years ago. Called them out years ago. That's the reason why Gabe Hoffman has had shit all over the internet saying that I'm fucking crazy for 7.5 years. He's had all that shit down, and the reason why is because when I got involved with him, I realized the skinny and called him out. Just like I'm doing fucking now. It's just that I had so much going on that I just stopped focusing on him and stopped focusing on Craig Sawyer. And why? because Fiona Barnett and Isaac Cappy were focused on them. That's the reason I didn't feel like I needed to do it, you know? And so and they blew up the Erlin, Iowa gas station 11 months after they murdered Isaac Cappy. And they tried to murder me for the very same reason they murdered Isaac Cappy. Because we were outspoken advocates against child traffickers. That's why. That's the reason why they're on top of me now. That's the reason why they really do think they have my house. You know? They really do think. But then they thought they were going to get me arrested with Sherilyn, you know, and those vapes, you know, that they paraded around. Is she involved with Famalam? It would not fucking surprise me in the least. But this Famalam program needs to be looked at. It's just another reason why this Famalam shit needs to be looked at. Flat out. Just another reason why. And they'll go all over because they want to make it all about me. They want to make it all about me. They're fucking with my numbers. There's no way there's 101 people in here. There's no way. And 3 likes. I'm going to have thousands and thousands of views. So when I post this, I'll just take a picture of the real numbers because I get to see the real numbers at the very beginning. But I also get to see the numbers that it says right after this. I get to see the fake ass numbers. The numbers that they're doing because they're just buying bots. Because they don't want people knowing or even thinking about their fucking child trafficking operation. And that's what this is all about, is child trafficking operation. And those people that are in my town that have been all okay with fucking meth heads and them doing meth, that's all fine and good. But let me assure you, like it or not, accept it or not, what the fuck ever, spiritually, the fact that you would stand by and be apathetic and supportive to a group that not only is dealing meth, but is protecting fucking child killers, that ups the stakes for everything and everyone. I'm just telling you. Spiritually, it does. And you know, if you're watching this fucking video, you know, that's how it works. He's not dead, and he's hiding. God only knows where the fuck he's hiding. If they would have said he died of prostate cancer, that would have been one thing. I wouldn't have even thought twice. But the fact that they said that he shot himself, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Anybody who looks at that dude can see. His whole life, he is just not the type. Just not the type. Murder himself, but as many people. The Jim Jones fucking thing? Oh, I could see that in him. I could see a Jim Jones thing. But he wouldn't go alone, and he wouldn't go quietly. A Jim Jones thing. I would have believed a Jim Jones. I would have believed a Jim Jones. But, and again, when it happened the first time, I was inundated with people from Temple of Set who were demanding that I apologize to Lilith with, of course, there's no fucking way. The whole thing is that they needed me to know that he committed suicide. And so I didn't think about it much. But then, right around the time, because at this exact same time that's happening, my sister's telling everybody that our stepmother is dead. And so I didn't think anything about it. It was just, I went on with life. But then I ran into our stepmother in a restaurant in town. When I was eating with Owen, I ran into her in town. And right around that exact same time, all of a sudden they started saying that Michael Aquino committed suicide again. It went all over the internet that Michael Aquino committed suicide. And it was supposedly, again, a second time. It was the most bizarre thing. It just didn't make any sense. None of this shit makes any sense to me. It all seems crazy. And crazy making. Crazy making. People can say whatever the fuck they want. But they're all connected to the people in town. You know? The organization that tried to set me up. The very organization that tried to set me up, which is one of the whole reasons why I'm facing this tax bill. You know? That's right across the street from the sheriff's office. The Mexican munchkin works with the director's family, and the meth head Oompa Loompa goes to meetings at that facility. They're all connected, and it's small town fucking Iowa, and they're very focused on me, and I think they're supposed to. I think this is all being built by heaven, and I just have to have faith. But these dumbass, I did not apologize to Lilith. What the fuck for? You know? And she knew exactly who I was. Because years before, when I ended up at Michael Aquino's front door above Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco with Doug Millar and my friend Spence, I was just simply knocking on the door. I wanted to meet the man. And he wouldn't answer the door, which I understand. I don't answer my door either. But the thing is that he and Lilith were at the open window right above me on the porch. And I could hear them talking about me. They mentioned my name 4 times. And they were afraid of me. And I don't have any history of being a dangerous person. You know? They can say whatever the fuck they want, and they do. They do. They say all kinds of crazy, stupid shit. And they get mad because I'm not defending myself against everything that they fucking say. You know? And perfect example is they can fucking tell whoever the fuck they want I'm a goddamn pedophile. I don't give a shit. I'm not a pedophile. It doesn't make me a pedophile. They can tell 1 million people. It doesn't make me a pedophile. I have no history of being a pedophile. Okay. When shit like that comes up, I end up talking, you know. Whole thing about it is investigate me all you want. And they have. And do. Investigate. I'm telling you the same thing with Isaac Happy. Don't only investigate me, but investigate everybody in my life. All the people that have come in my life. Sherilyn. Glenna. That all happened after I started talking about Isaac Happy. But then, pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. The whole thing about it is that when it comes down to it, and again, I'm not going to actually argue the whole shit. You know? I don't give a shit. And I'm not running, because that's what they want to do is close people down. This child trafficking operation needs to be fucking investigated. It needs to be. And the people that I'm calling out have been called out by others before. The problem is that a lot of the others who have called this group out before have all committed suicide. You know? It's amazing, again, how many suicides are involved when it comes to this group. And so I have the armor of God on. That's the reason why I know everything is providence. Heaven has control of everything. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I figure that heaven will intercede at the last moment, probably. I doubt that heaven is going to let them have my house when this house was a direct blessing from heaven. You know? The powers that be are the pedophiles. That's just it. It is. They're all of them. All of them. But in town now, people in town are watching my shit. And they just need to know. The whole apathy about them being involved with the meth operation was one thing. But now you all know that this group is also protecting fucking Nazi child killers. That's what they, and yeah, that's going to get you a lot of grace, saved by heaven. That's going to get you, heaven's going to just shine upon you with blessings and glory. Yes, I'm being gang-stalked. They're in my house all the time, constantly fucking harassing me, constantly fucking harassing me, and they know that I can't go to the cops. But do my cameras work? Yeah, they do. So they have to have that thing that if they get caught with that thing that shuts off my Wi-Fi, that's a felony. You can't have those. That's a felony all in and of itself. So they're just committing felonies and they steal shit and then they brag about it. You know? And so all of this, but now the fact that they hung out flyers all around town with my address and my picture saying that I'm a fucking pedophile, now people know that it's the truth. This whole arguing that I'm crazy, or as this person that I just blocked saying, oh, you're just a narcissist. Those flyers say something completely different. And the fact that those flyers were hung, there were people in town who have seen the video where it was the sheriff's deputies who were hanging those flyers at least in the square. You know? So, and there's that. And people in town have seen that. Which means that everyone has talked about it in town. People know about it. They know. You know? T is not someone who hides. People know who he is. They know he's a stand-up guy in town. You know, you can say whatever the fuck you want, but he's a stand-up dude. People actually like him. And he's the one who filmed it. And he doesn't give a shit that I'm saying his name. He doesn't give a shit. You know? But in town, that all makes a difference. And so now, in town, the gist is that now these motherfuckers who have been all involved with this meth operation are also involved with protecting fucking child killers. And if you're apathetic to that, and you don't care, and it doesn't bother you, and what the fuck ever, you aren't going to like the consequences for that. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Ignorance in this case is not bliss. And you're not ignorant. You've watched this video in particular. And I'm sure this video will make its rounds in town. Now everyone knows. And it's funny because when I went out during that blizzard, and the only reason I went out to go scoop is because the electricity went off. It was off for a day, a couple days, I think, if I remember right. But it was off for at least 24 hours. And the Mexican munchkin, who's all involved with this whole shit, eagerly came up to shake my hand and look me in the eye. Because they've watched these videos in town, and I've done it twice before. To the government dude who lived in the building, and to Chad Butler, who was the cop who tailgated me from Hy-Vee to Casey's, but also was the dude who showed up with that broken window. While Meth Head Oompa Loompa and his cohort sat out on the patio laughing with the cop and laughing in my face about the whole situation. And so, you know, all of that energy when that happened all matters. And so when the Mexican munchkin shook my hand eagerly and wanted to do that, we were having 90-mile-an-hour winds. And the snow was heavy. And it had fucked up all the electricity. The electricity had just gone out because he had just gone out to actually shovel just as well as I did. So all of that energy connected with it. And when I shook his hand, heaven worked through me. I'm just telling you, it worked through me. And gave him the dark. Because he was going to go out and share that dark with the rest of the community. And now where are we? They've hung flyers all over town. So now people all over town know me, not just from the signs in my yard, but those flyers. it's just God works in interesting ways. It just, God works in interesting ways. And this is all providence. And the shit that's going on with my house, it is stressful. I am fucking stressed out about this fucking tax bill. I'm pissed off about the fucking shit that I have to look at. Not that I give a fuck about selling my house, because I don't want to sell my house, you know? But the fact that it's all happening because they're all focused with ill intent onto me, you know? Yes, I'm an author. I wrote this. Rabbit Hole. Talks about my family being involved with child trafficking and my experience with it. In Omaha, Nebraska. I got nominated for Book of the Year when I published it, as you can see. I published it in 2012. This group will say and do whatever they need to say and do. And they are doing everything they can. And I also have a blog, davidshurter.com. You can go to it from the link that's in the description. I will say that if you have Prime, it's cheaper. But if you want to get a signed copy from me, it's $30. I make about $8 on the deal from what I buy on the books. Paid. My PayPal and my Venmo are just D and Shurter. And it's $30 if you live in the United States. Tell me where I'm sending it. Tell me who I'm inscribing it to. Otherwise, you can buy it on Amazon and it's cheaper. You know? I will tell you I have 11 cents and I don't know. Fuck. I just spent my change to buy a thing of milk. And now I'm done for the month. So it's not just this tax bill, it's just normal shit because I'm on disability. And I have complex PTSD, so them breaking into my house and all the attacks and all the shit that they do online and all of this stuff that just continuously bombards me from all this shit is triggering. It affects your sleep. I end up getting stressed out, you know? It's just, I'm not going to act like a crazy person. I'm just not going to act like a crazy person. We're all responsible for ourselves. And so there's nothing I can do about that situation. So I just have to let it go. But when they break into my house, you know, I've had a great future. I can't say that, you know what my bet is, dude? I've made actually the right choices and actually was able to sell a house and be able to buy 2 other houses afterwards that I moved to. I was able to move states away from Washington back to Iowa because of the choices that I made while I was on fucking disability. And so people can say whatever the fuck they want. That's their little Nazi fucking bullshit. They're mad because I have something they think I don't deserve. They want it. And if they can't have it, they'll destroy it. And it's not just, they don't just do that shit for me. They do that for all the people around them. If you do it to one, you'll do it to all. That's how it works. And so, and they're going to be fed. They're getting claimed by the dark. All these people that have ill intent that are very focused on me right now because they think, again, they have me. They think they have my house. They think they have me. And maybe they do. Whatever is going to happen is providence. So whatever happens, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm praying for a miracle. I have faith and I trust. And I'm trying to figure out and do what I can. You know, pretty soon I'll have bags that I can sell too. You know? And so wouldn't it be interesting to do a reality show? But then you couldn't trust who was doing it because they send everybody. Fuck. You know? And they're good. Sherilyn was good. She was good. I had doubts, but I quelched those. Now I've gotten to the point where I just don't quelch the doubts anymore. Don't quelch the doubts anymore. the doubts are there, then I just admit that the doubts are there. As paranoid as I think I might be at the time. Because sometimes I tell myself, no, I'm just being paranoid. No, I'm just being paranoid. And then when I don't listen to myself, I thought I was crazy too. That's the whole thing. I think that's the thing for all of us. Because I'm, again, not the only one who's gone through shit like this. I'm not the only one who's gone through shit like this. Sherilyn was working with them. The whole thing about it is that there's stuff that went on, but the gist of it was she was going to give me some THC cartridges. And she kept calling them felonies. And I don't think I would have made it home with them. And the reason why I say that is because she was the one who actually got me to reach out to that Smokey guy. And he's okay. I don't find anything wrong with Smokey whatsoever. I mean, I think he has issues, but I think we all have issues. But Sherilyn was the one who pushed me to reach out to Smokey, and then the minute I did, we ended up three-way calling each other. I was on the phone with Sherilyn, and so then I ended up calling Smokey because they gave me the number, and so we three-way. That's how it started. Immediately after that, Tom Berger came and said that Smokey was involved with MS-13, and that meant I was involved with MS-13, and I was threatening Thomas with this Smokey dude because he was connected with MS-13, and it was all bullshit. All bullshit. But now that I look back, it was all a set-up deal. It was all a fucking set-up deal. I never had access to that email that she set up that I was using for this blog, that dshurtermod@gmail.com. I've never had, even though I've asked for the credentials before, and I should have just been giving it to him at the beginning when she set it up. But I've never been able to get the password to that. So I was on it. God only knows who emailed. I will never know who emailed because it was all Sherilyn. She's working with them. And then afterwards, when I confronted her and all this shit went down, then Sewertown and all of them started to defend Sherilyn. That's how I knew. That's how I knew. And now it comes to my attention, someone says that Sherilyn is connected to Famalam. Famalam is connected to Isaac Cappy. If Sherilyn is involved with Famalam, because I knew she was involved with the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, then it all needs to actually come out. That needs to be investigated. You know, it needs to be investigated. At a time, let me remind everyone that's going on with Sherilyn that all the shit that I'm talking about with the tax shit on my house has all been public knowledge for almost 2 years now. It was published in the newspaper 2 years when it, a year and a half ago when it came out. So people have known about it. So they were hoping to set me up, put me in jail, and then I'd lose my house, I'd lose everything. And chances are I would end up committing suicide in jail. That's how it was going to fucking work. And now they're all on top of me. Now they're focused on the house, and I just have to have faith. I don't know how I'm going to come up with the money for the taxes. But this house was a blessing from God, and I just don't see God. If God lets them take this house from me, then it's for a reason. And it won't go well for them, because it won't be for a good reason. That's just it. You do not realize how many times I have had to lay in bed and tell myself, I shall not fear. Although I walk through the valley of death, I will not be afraid, for thou art with me. And I remind myself that in heaven all the time, because this whole shit is so triggering that sometimes I'm grasping onto anything with faith, because they want me to think that there is no God and it's all them and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and so I should have no hope. That's what they do, that I should have no hope. But that's not the case. That's not the case. I have complete hope, and I think this is all being designed for what's coming next. That's what ends up happening. White tree. There's no white tree. Oh no, it's pails. Those are my tomato plants. Those are my tomato plants. My little raised gardens with my tomato plants and my pepper plants. And that's why they're focused on my house. And the house is a blessing from God, which is funny because this has been a complete blessing. So of course it would become a test of faith. You know, that heaven would use it to test my faith. And my faith is being tested. And I just have to have faith and realize that everything else has failed. Something will happen. But all the while that's going on, oh yeah, the spruce. That blue spruce is wonderful. Family of squirrels lives in there. It's irritating because the squirrels get into my bird seed, my bird food. But I don't have any money for bird food, so I water them so that they have water because it hasn't rained a lot here. But I don't have any bird food because I have 11 cents to my name. If I have to deal with that, then I have to deal with that, you know? And that's what I've had to go through. All of this stuff has been a test of faith, you know? And just like Job got tested, my path has not been easy. But every time, I've had to say it, that every time it's come down to, when push came to shove, my faith stayed strong. It got me through. I believe in God. I believe in heaven. I believe in the Word. I believe in the Word. I believe the best way to the Word is to study the Gospels of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the best way to understand the Word. Everything that's out there, and I've looked at everything, is the best way that's out there, is to understand the Word. The shamanic thing, personally me, I wouldn't suggest the shamanic stuff for people. You know, I'm glad I went to the shamanic level because the Luciferian bullshit that they opened in me, that they trained me to do, and opened in me in fucking rituals where they murdered little boys, that didn't just go away. It got stronger as I got older. And shamanism is the other side of the coin and taught me how to at least control it and be able to not let it control me. That's the biggest thing. Because with survivors, we end up letting our past control us. You know? And you can't do that. You can't let the past control. We're a weird breed. The more we go through, the stronger our faith grows. I'm going to take a snapshot of that cognitive because I want to put that up because that's true. The shit part about it is the path to God and the path to the Word and the path to the heaven. You have to walk through fire, you know? You have to just go through hell. You do. It's not easy. It just gets worse and worse and worse. But the more you do it, the more the more tests that I go through, the more I prove to myself how strong my faith is and what my faith is able to do. And so, I do think I can do that. Thank you. Okay, cognitive, I posted, I pinned your comment, because that is true. The more we go through, the more resilient our faith becomes, you know? And I'm at a point in time where they're just able to do whatever the fuck they want to, you know? Does it drive me fucking bonkers that they come into my house when I'm gone? Like, you can't believe. It ends up pissing me the fuck off. It does, like I think anybody would. Wouldn't you feel violated? I feel violated all the time. It irritates the piss out of me. Then they steal shit, and they brag about shit, and they laugh about it, and they laugh in my face, and they dance around, and yeah, it's irritating. Not to mention all the other shit that they're doing. All the other shit, all the time. Because it's a constant fucking circus that never stops. You know? That never stops. And it's all designed because they want to quiet down their child. They don't want anybody talking about their child trafficking operation. No one. No one. And the shit that they're doing to me that they have that I've documented on this channel, and the shit that's on, the YouTube channel that they got taken down, interestingly enough, has everything to do with all the stuff that I was doing about Lori King. That's why they wanted that thing down, because I went in and typed Lori King in the search bar this morning to go find stuff, and I started looking at it and realized that some of that shit is just videos, and that video, because they complained and got that channel taken down, and that's why, because of the shit about Lori King. They want that fucking shit down. They murdered Lori King. It's not a coincidence that she committed suicide at Amber Vallotton's house the same Sunday that Ivory Garden was finishing its second annual conference, its trauma and ritual abuse conference in Seattle. And why did it happen? Because it was designed to scare people. And it did. That's the reason why Amber Vallotton went out and fucking bragged about the shit. Fucking was the one who said she fed Lori King all those pills. Because she knew she had to be the one to feed Lori King all those pills. And she told all these women that she did that, and it was to instill fear. And it worked. It worked. It did. It scared the shit out of a lot of people. And that was what it was meant to do. Because it was meant to close down the shit. It's right in front of people's faces. But in Harlan, now, spiritually, whether people fucking like it or not, you might be apathetic to them running a meth operation and fucking selling meth to kids, because that's who they're selling it to. They're getting the kids addicted, so then the kids are criminals. They can arrest them, then they can hold this shit on, and they have fucking a whole workforce. And but now, the very same people that are involved with the meth heads and doing this meth operation are also connected, trying to protect and defend a bunch of child killers. And spiritually, that makes a fucking difference. Now that you know that, I would choose fucking accordingly. Because when I say that your soul depends upon it, I'm not fucking kidding. And ignorance will not be bliss. Tell yourself whatever motherfucking thing you need to tell yourself to sleep at night, but just a word of caution, you may at least want to consider what I'm saying. Because I'm not talking out my ass. Protecting child killers is frowned upon in heaven. And you reap what you sow. With that said, that's this live.